In case you're wondering the connection to Aston Martin, we have an Aston Martin dealership in Cleveland as well. That's why this car's here. But I want to thank everybody for coming out. You know, the great part about being a car enthusiast is that you can meet perfect stranger that you've never met in your entire life, and you find you have a lot in common because our love of cars transcends everything. So it's a great to see everybody out here. I got a lot of questions about the Aston Martin, so I figured I'd answer a few. You may have heard this earlier, but my favorite story is that this is the steering wheel. It's also the key to the car. So this is, without this, the car won't start. Obviously, it won't turn either, but the most important thing is it won't start. And when Aston Martin shipped it from England, they shipped it on a commercial Lufthansa flight to Chicago as cargo, because nobody's here from the EPA, right? Good. So the car is actually not legally allowed to be in the United States. It is now, but it wasn't back in October when we got the car. So we shipped it in as car parts. And so the way the government considers it to be a car part is if it doesn't start, it doesn't have a steering wheel. So we had to ship this separately. And the Aston Martin engineer who brought this, it comes in this very James Bond looking case. Let me give this to Sean here. And this case is about the size of like a gun box. And this was the day after the San Bernardino terrorist attacks. And the chief engineer for this project is actually Italian. And he's a little bit dark complected, crazy hair. And he's going through customs explaining that this box is really a steering wheel for a car. So they kept him in customs for 5 hours and interrogated him. But he finally made it through. He didn't have a sense of humor about that. I thought it was funny. But, so anyway, so they brought the car to Cleveland. This is one of 24 that will ever be made in honor of the 24 Hours of Le Mans and Aston Martin's racing heritage in that race. The other one that came to the United States we sold, which is a 1985 Acura NSX purple, which is like a dark, dark blue. The client picked out that color. Aston Martin found the original paint supplier, got some paint, and painted the car in that color form. This one is called Flammio Red. It's a 5-coat paint system. It's actually a standard Aston Martin color that you can get in any Aston Martin car. And so they made these two cars for the U.S., and the other 22 are outside the United States. So we're really proud of the fact that 2 of them came to Cleveland, and we're happy to have it here. So when the engineer brought this, I want you guys to picture, you know, Cleveland weather is like Boston. So it's actually end of October, beginning of November time frame, and it's cold out. And I figured this car's going to be indoors until May 24th, because next Tuesday is the first day that we can actually race the car, and they won't unlock a full 880 horsepower until you go on the track and prove that you're worthy. And so I'm guessing that they're going to give me like 50 horsepower, so I'm guessing. But so next Tuesday we do that, but the car was going to sit indoors and not be driven for that period of time. So I'm dressed in a suit because I'm working at our dealerships up there, and I said to the guys from Aston, I said, can we drive it down the street? And they looked at me like, no. So our director of administrative operations and security is a former Secret Service guy. So I said, hey, call the police in North Olmsted and see if they'll let us drive this thing down the street. So the police there are really friendly. They said no problem. So they brought 5, and they're also car enthusiasts. So they brought 5 police cars, blocked off the streets. We put it on the street, and at that point, the Aston Martin guy's like, you're really driving it on the track. This was like 4 minutes after I'd signed an affidavit that I would never drive it on the street. And so the Italian guy's going crazy. So he goes, I will drive with you. So he sits in the driver's seat, and we drove down the street and back. But nobody knew we were doing this. So as we were driving down this 4-lane road, people on the other side see this car, 3 cop cars behind us, 2 cop cars in front of us. So it was pretty fun. So that's the only time the car's ever been driven, because this is actually a demonstration set of panels. So these panels are only for show, because you can see the way the wheels work. This car would be white after about two laps on the track from just stones ripping the panels off. And these are also the demonstration tires. Bugatti, which is the only car that delivers this much power to 2 wheels and back. Bugatti's obviously all-wheel drive, but this one being rear-wheel drive, it would rip the tires off the wheels if you accelerated. So we have a separate set of wheels and tires coming for our race event next Tuesday. As I told the Aston guys, after one set of tires and wheels is done, we go home. That's how you know it's time to go home. So the car, go ahead and start her up, Sean. So the car has to, the oil tank has to heat up to 50 degrees centigrade to get going. And then once it's on the track, it'll actually throw flames. So for you guys that are sitting right there, if you guys like carbon dioxide, it'll be in great shape. So that's the heating process. That's not the car not starting. Race fuel in the morning. So that's the other thing. It only takes racing fuel. It has to have at least 103 octane. And on the track, it will throw out a flame about 1.5 feet long once it heats up. And that's why if you look carefully at the car, it has coolers there. And because it takes a while to get it up to heat, you fire it up. But after that, it gets quite hot. So again, enjoy the car, enjoy the show. And again, thank you guys so much for coming out and pleasing us today. Thank you.